Hi, and welcome to Achievement Through Attitude TV. I'm your host and attitude coach, Phil Stringer. Achievement Through Attitude is simply about having your attitude adjusted. It's about having attitudes that enable you to never hang your head and never surrender. It's about having an attitude of a yes, I will that will help you move to the next level. This week we're going to talk a little bit about an attitude of laughter and passion, because you got to be able to laugh at yourself. And you know that when you're passionate about something, you found something that you love to do. And the two guests that I have on today, I like to call them my dynamic duo. They are a husband and wife. And they have a lot of laughter and a lot of passion that they've used as an attitude to achieve big. One started out as an ice cream scooper and is now on the precipice of being the next Food Network star. The other went from a school teacher to a personal training guru that helps young people mold their lives. Stay tuned to have your attitude adjusted with Orchid Palmier and Michael Palmier next on Achievement Through Attitude TV. Hey everyone, welcome back to Achievement Through Attitude TV. I hope you're ready to get your attitude adjusted with Orchid Palmier. As we were going along after the first show, I was trying to think, who could we bring on that could follow a Navy SEAL? And I'm thinking, I got it, Orchid. Orchid, welcome to Achievement Through Attitude TV.
Phil.
For those of you that don't know, Orchid and I have been friends for a long time. And I'm excited about everything that she has accomplished in her life through her attitude. And Orchid embodies what we talked about in the beginning of the show about laughter and about passion. And Orchid, let's start with, we started off as an ice cream scooper, right?
Yeah, not that long ago. No, I'm just kidding.
I said an ice cream scooper, right?
Yeah, an ice cream. Yeah, in high school, I think 14, 15 years old I was. Very first job, $3.35 an hour.
Wow.
And I thought it was the best job in the entire world, scooping ice cream at the mall.
That's amazing. So that was your first, I guess, dabble into the food and beverage world.
Yes, absolutely. First job, and probably like a lot of kids that age, especially in this area, food and beverage is going to be their first job,
Right.
bussing tables. For me, it was scooping ice cream. But yeah, it really just, it actually started to teach me that if you put some work in, you can get rewarded for it, and then you can go do things, you know, on your own with your own money and go for
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
That's an attitude of earning it,
Yep.
working for it and earning it.
Yes.
So now, you and I met each other down here when you were a beverage cart girl.
Yeah. Yes, actually, Mike is the one, my husband, that said, hey, my buddy Phil needs a bev cart girl. And I was like, okay, I'll go. But yeah, that was way back when.
Now, you got 3 kids.
Yes. They are 8, 9, and 11.
8, 9, and 11.
Yes.
Now, I remember when they were itty bitty and you were having these kids 1 year apart.
Yeah.
How do you balance everything that you do? You're a mom, you're a restaurant owner, and you have all these other activities going on in your life, and a wife. Let's not forget Mike.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, what's your attitude when you wake up in the morning? You know, how do you approach your day?
You know, it's not something that came like no problem as soon as I became mom. It like, oh, this is what you do. You definitely have to figure things out along the way. And I know you talk about attitude a lot. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I truly believe in is just a positive mental attitude. Mm-hmm. Just waking up and not thinking, ugh, what do I have to do today? I think we wake up in the whole house as this day is going to be awesome. Like, we look forward to it. And we plan. Like, we plan what's going to happen the next day. Mm-hmm. And you just, organization. And I'm not afraid to ask for help. I think that's one thing is, it takes a team to do things. And in this household, we all have so many things going on, and you have to be willing to ask for some help when you need it. Right. And I think everyone together, it makes life go by so much easier.
Right. Now, I know that you get some help from Mr. and Mrs. Palmier.
Yes, absolutely.
They're the built-in nannies, right?
Yeah, they are like our saving grace. I mean, they help us with the kids. And it's neat, too, because I think they were working parents. Mm-hmm. And I think it gives them a chance to kind of, you know, the child, like the time they didn't get to spend with Mike and his brother, I think they really are enjoying their time now with the grandkids.
Right,
so,
right.
yeah.
Well, that's great. Now, I know that a couple times that you've tried out. Well, I don't know if it's a tryout.
Yeah, it's an audition.
An audition.
Yes.
For the show. Now, how many times did you do it?
This is the third time. So, I mean, the first time, Mike and myself and the girls, we went to Charleston and we said, well, I'll audition because it was an open call. And there was at least 200, 300 people there when I got there. Because I was number like 189 or something, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Let me ask you, what was your attitude for that first time that you thought about, hey, I'm going to do this? What was that kind of that thought process?
After watching the show for 3 years already, I said, you know what? And my thing is Melissa d'Arabian, who was a mom with 4 kids at home. I was like, if she can do this, I know I can do this. And not in a bad way, like, oh, if she could do, more like, you know what? She's going for it. Why shouldn't I be able to go for it? And I think that's a difference. There's a difference in looking at people and saying that I can do better than they can, and being inspired by what they can do. And I think that was what made me go. And I made it to the second round. I didn't get called back after that. So I got jaded. The next year, which was 2 years ago, I just sent in a video. I'm like, forget it. I'm just going to send a video in, like the day before it was due. And of course, I didn't get a call back. But my attitude was not good.
It was not good, right?
No, I was jaded.
And that's the difference there between that positive attitude that Orchid wakes up with every morning to that, it's not going to happen to me attitude.
Like, I'm just going to send it. And that really was, no callback, not even an inquiry. Like, hey, do you want to send us more information? So it made a difference. And then this third time.
Let's tell me about the attitude for this third time.
The third time, I was like, you know what? We're either going to make it or break it.
Right.
So 3 strikes, you're out, or third time's a charm. But we went in, and truly it was because we all, again, went to Atlanta this time and did the open call audition. And we're like, you know what? I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to say that this is the last time I'm going to try out, and I'm going to make it. And I told that to the girl.
You give me goosebumps there, Orchid.
I know, it was neat.
I like it.
It was
That's awesome.
neat. Yeah, it was. And the thing is, the first audition, you only have 1 minute to impress them. And either they say, you'll come back tomorrow, or not. They're like, what's the difference this time? I'm like, because this time I'm going to be on it. I'm ready to be on it. And she goes, all right, come back tomorrow. And it literally is like 45 seconds to a minute.
That is amazing. Now, this is another thing that I found fascinating. I was looking at the webpage, and I don't know if you're the only person that does not have formal culinary training.
I'm not the only, but I'm one. For sure there are 8 executive chefs, or that are in a 5-star kitchen or so forth, or they're classically trained.
Now, my whole thought, you're not like, oh my gosh. You're like whatever, I'm working it, I'm here. Is that kind of the attitude?
Yeah, no.
If you can do it, I can do it?
Yeah, it's intimidating. It was intimidating, but you kind of have to get over that and just kind of be like, you know what, I'm here. I've got my own special gifts. They've got their own special gifts, and bring them to the table and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, it does get intimidating, but I think that's the difference, because I knew going in there were going to be executive chefs. Absolutely.
Right.
Of course they're going to have executive chefs. But if I let that stop me, then I shouldn't even try out. You know, there's no reason to try out then if you're going to be intimidated by that. So.
Intimidated never.
Yeah.
Right there. Now, with everything that you've got going on, I know you were gone for a while. What do the kids think about this?
Oh, they love it. They just think it's the coolest thing. Their mom's on TV, and it's like, Mom, you're on TV again. It's like, okay, turn it up. Like, we're not afraid to watch it 10 times over. But they love it. They just, I think, and I talk about it a little bit in the show too, that it's just setting the example. Mike and I talked about this the other night. Right. Just setting the example of what the bar is. So being on TV, or you know what Mike does, the head of a golf academy, that's not an unrealistic goal. Right. Actually, that's a goal I hope they surpass, both of us, in whatever their endeavors are going to be. But yeah, they have high expectations ahead of them.
That's fantastic, and that you guys set that example for them, and then you preach that to them.
Yeah.
And that's what, Achievement Through Attitude, and that's what this television program is about. It's about getting an attitude adjustment, or possibly helping you find your attitude. Yep. And I believe that Orchid has found that attitude with laughter, as you can see, and she's passionate about what she does, and that's wonderful. Yeah. And you found when you were passionate about it, that you found out that you loved it.
Yeah, and that makes a difference, because if you do not love what you're going to do every day, I'm not going to say it's an everyday thing.
It's not easy, Orchid.
No,
it's not.
It's not.
And that's the thing, you know, it's not about doing things that are easy. It's about doing things that are hard, because at the end, you know, the reward is amazing.
Yeah, and you know, working those long days isn't everyone's dream, but coming home and knowing you've worked that long day and showing your kids you've worked a long day, I think that in the big picture is what makes you keep going, keep going, and keep going.
That's awesome. Orchid, do you have, we're going to wrap this segment up, but do you have any, I know there's some way that people can vote for you.
Oh,
you want to tell them how they can contact you or whatever the...
You can go to foodnetwork.com and click on Orchid, and 10 times a day.
Guys, stay tuned. I hope you got your attitude adjusted with Orchid, but wait till we bring Mike on, because we're going to give you another attitude adjustment in just a minute on Achievement Through Attitude TV. Hey everyone, welcome back to Achievement Through Attitude TV. I hope you enjoyed the attitude adjustment that you just received from Orchid Palmier. But we've got a little bit more attitude coming your way with the other half of my husband and wife dynamic duo today, and that's Michael Palmier. Michael, thanks for joining me here at Achievement Through Attitude TV.
You got it, Phil. Absolute pleasure.
Like I said in the opening, Michael went from being a school teacher to a personal trainer guru. Now that's my word, because I'm sure that's making him a little uncomfortable, but I've known Mike long enough that I can give him a little bit of the business. But let's get started with being a school teacher and how you transformed yourself into being a personal trainer.
Well, it kind of works. I followed a natural progression, I think. I followed my passion into teaching, and as I was teaching from year to year, I began to see my students get heavier and heavier. And that was a major concern. Having been a former collegiate athlete, I worry when I see 8-year-olds coming in and they're obese. And so I began working in periods in the morning and in the afternoon during our class time, where we'd get outside and we'd do a formal exercise. And it got to be to such a point that I realized that that's truly where my passion lied. So I began working with children and adults of all shapes and sizes to get them to the best physical condition they could be in, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
Right. Well, you know, you used the word passion there, and that's what we're talking about today on the show, along with laughter, and we got a little bit of that. Well, we got a lot of that in the first segment, with your wife. But you know, when you're passionate about something, you know, I believe that that's where you found what you love to do, and I believe that you have found that because it's a selfless act that you do. You give of yourself to have these kids have an opportunity to improve their lives. Both from the physical and sports arena, because you work with the kids at the Hank Haney and then at the Yvonne Lendl Tennis Academy.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that and the specialized training that you do there, and talk a little bit about I guess your background as far as your education and what you do with them.
Well, first of all, I have a master's in art of teaching. That's why I went into elementary education in the first place. But I also worked toward my certification as an athletic trainer in college. Since I've come out, I became a health and wellness instructor through the American College of Sports Medicine.
Okay.
I am a golf fitness instructor through the Titleist Performance Institute, as well as a junior level coach with TPI as well.
You've been busy.
I've been working, yeah, I've been doing a lot.
Right.
But as far as the thing I find the most commonality in what I do, whether I'm working with tennis players, whether I'm working with golfers, or whether I'm working with kids who are looking to lose weight, is I utilize kettlebells as the training implement. And the reason I do that is because the most amazing thing about the kettlebell is it reveals a person's character.
Right.
So because it's completely foreign.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, let me just stop you right there.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to show everybody at home exactly what Michael's talking about. And that is what he uses to make the world right. Right. Absolutely. There, guys.
Absolutely. Kettlebells have been around for about 200 years. Some will debate that and say almost 1,500 years because they found things that look just like them in Shaolin temples.
Wow.
So the reason that kettlebells are amazing, I think, is not to bore you with biomechanics, but there's an external lever system built into the kettlebell. So the weight's at the end of the kettlebell. It's not in your hand. So your brain has to decide how that's going to move and shift as you move it, similar to how a golf club's going to change position as you move and rotate. Tennis racket, lacrosse stick, baseball bat, doesn't matter. There's an external lever that your body has to be able to predict. And when you train with an implement that has the same mechanical reference point, you get better at any type of rotational sport. And that's why whether I'm training tennis players, golfers, softball players, it doesn't matter. We're using kettlebells.
Right. So now we've learned how the body actually works. Now let's talk about the mind and what kind of attitude that you see that you implement with these kids, and that the attitude that they give you back once you pretty much laid down the law of how things are going to work.
One thing I find that kids truly crave is they look for leadership. They want someone to be very clear and consistent with their expectations, someone that doesn't give them a pass. You know, I don't give praise to give praise. You have to earn it from me. And kids, I think, respect it. They gravitate to someone that is consistently the same. I walk in the door the same way. I always have a saying with my kids wherever I train: check your baggage at the door. I don't care if you're upset at Johnny because he stole your iPhone. Or, I don't care. You need to be 100% focused on your training, because if you're a serious athlete, you have to look at every training opportunity the same. It's an opportunity to get better. Whether you're working with me in the performance center, whether you're working with a mental coach or your swing coach on the course or on the court, it doesn't matter. You have to see those all as opportunities. They're challenges, yes, but they're opportunities for greatness.
That's what we talk about here, is that there really are no challenges. There's just opportunity, and the kids gravitate towards that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing about the kettlebells, because it's completely foreign. You can walk into any gym in America, and I'd say 99% of them will not have a kettlebell in there. And that way, when I hand them to someone, particularly a younger athlete, I can gauge their attitude and a lot about their character within the first second. Some kids actually recoil. They have no context to connect to that training implement, so they're frightened. And within 3 weeks, they're swinging a weight that's 50% heavier and getting aggressive with more traditional Olympic lifts using the kettlebell. So we're overcoming fear. And one of my sayings is proximal strength equals distal power. So if you're strong in the center, or if you're strong at the core, you're powerful in your extremities. So the kettlebell,
it all stems from the core.
The kettlebell is, everything is driven from the kettlebell. It's always driven from your hips. So no matter what you're doing, your hips initiate the movement, just like it does in golf, just like it does in tennis. But more importantly to what we're talking about today is you have to overcome your fear of something completely new and foreign. You have to build up your own self-confidence. And so the kettlebell will reveal the weaknesses in biomechanical movement patterns, but also in how a person views themselves. They'll be frightened at first because it's new. But after a while, they overcome that, and then they have more success to tie into the kettlebell.
So that attitude, basically what you're instilling in them is an attitude of strength and confidence, and about never being intimidated, about it's okay to earn it. Again, it's about being selfless, because they've got to give up a little bit to get a little, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They have to let go of their preconceived notions of what lifting ought to be. And and what trainers ought to make them do.
Well, I'd like to definitely touch. I know you work at the Mindstream Academy.
Mindstream Academy,
and
yes.
you have a special young man out there. I believe his name is
Christopher. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about him and his amazing journey.
Well, Mindstream Academy is the country's first health and wellness high school. We are literally trying to transform kids' lives. And we were actually featured in the Huffington Post very recently. By Dr. Katz wrote an amazing article. And he talked about Chris. Chris came in, and he was, to be quite frank, he was suicidal. He did not like himself physically. He was about 100 pounds overweight, and he didn't want to go to school. He didn't want to, he was withdrawing from everything. He comes to Mindstream Academy, and within 4 months, he's lost 91 pounds. He's lost 63 inches, and now he wants to go back and get on the track team. He wants to go back and get on the cross team. He's excited to go hiking and camping and fishing and continue to be outdoors. But more importantly, he has a zest for life now that he did not have when he started.
Well, Michael, that's amazing, and thank you for sharing your story and your attitude. And thanks for being here at Achievement Through Attitude TV.
My pleasure, Phil. Thank you.
Folks, remember, every morning when you wake up and your feet hit the floor, you have an opportunity to do something amazing, to be amazing. Say, yes, I will. Never surrender. Never hang your head. We'll see you next time at Achievement Through Attitude TV for your attitude adjustment.